The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Directing federal layoffs of federal workers this time around.
Well, this is all caused by the Democrats. They asked us to do something that's totally unreasonable. They never change. They want to give money away to illegally, people that entered our country illegally. They want to give them massive federal money. And we don't want to do that because it means everyone's going to just keep pouring back. Right now we have absolutely perfect borders like you haven't seen in many years. Even better than I had great borders during my 4 years, but these borders are stone cold closed. You can only come into our country legally now. But the Democrats want to give it all away. They want to open up the borders. Take a look at that. Big thing. They want to open borders again after what we're going through now, getting rid of prisoners, getting rid of all of these people dropped out from mental institutions, drug dealers, drug addicts, everything. They're putting everybody into our country. It's all ended now. But this is what Schumer wants. This is what the Democrats want. They want.
Welcome, my friends, to the Thursday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Fastest hour in American media. At the top, we played, of course, your president, our president, Donald J. Trump, on what looks like to be a variation of a theme. The theme usually is that these things go right to the minute. All this talk about government shutdowns, and then somebody blinks. I remember the last time I discussed this with our very own princess of policy, Princess Diana. She said, I'm not even paying attention much to this stuff. This is the usual stuff they'll come up with at last minute. And sure enough, at the last minute, they came up with a deal. I'm wondering if the princess, maybe we ought to give her a call, but I didn't ask her to, but let's just see if she'll take a call. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. Yeah, just call her. Let's see whether she'll take a call. I wonder if the princess is thinking like I'm thinking. This time, we may actually get a government shutdown. The stakes have been raised, my friends. Donald Trump did something that threw this entire non-story into big story yesterday. The White House has begun plans for mass firings if there is a government shutdown. The White House, this is the Washington Post version of the story. The White House is preparing federal agencies for widespread layoffs if the government shuts down next week. By the way, that shutdown, October 1st is when it's scheduled. The directive has shaken the federal workforce, which has already undergone sweeping layoffs under DOGE and is now scrambling to understand who could lose their jobs as early as Wednesday. The White House Office of Management and Budget issued a memo late Wednesday directing agencies to consider firing employees working on any program that is not funded by another law, such as the Republicans' One Big Beautiful Act enacted in July, and which does not align with the president's priorities. Once government funding is reinstated after a shutdown, agencies should revise their plans to keep only the smallest number of employees necessary legally to operate. Says she's not. Thank you. Okay, fine. I tried to take her by surprise. She wouldn't take the bait. Necessary to legally operate. Folks, this is huge. We have not seen a Republican administration do this ever in the history of back and forths between Democrats always trying to blame Republicans for wanting a government shutdown, and this time Republicans daring a Republican of all Republicans, Donald Trump, hey, go along with us, otherwise we'll shut the government down. Donald Trump is pretty much saying, okay, shut it down, baby. And when you shut it down, we're going to use that opportunity to pare this government down so small You won't believe what happens. In fact, Ed Morrissey, and I saw the Princess sent this to me. I love the way the hot air, Ed Morrissey. His story is White House. Nice swamp you got there, Chuck. Shame if something happened to it. That is hysterical. 2 days ago, Chuck Schumer threatened Donald Trump with a good time. Now the White House threatens to make the good time permanent. Literally. The deadline for a government shutdown is fast approaching, and Schumer tried to play hardball this week. He and Hakeem Jeffries demanded a meeting with Trump to negotiate, which Trump initially accepted but canceled after they issued a massive list of concessions they wanted before the meeting even took place. Schumer then ran out to the press and said that Trump was chicken and that any shutdown would be his fault, even though the House of Representatives has already passed the clean CR that Schumer had demanded when Joe Biden was president-ish, which is a very nice way of putting it. Of course, even with the spin, that still leaves Trump in charge of any shutdown. Morrissey says he explained on Tuesday, any aspiring swamp-draining president, plenty of opportunity to hammer the Democrat constituency, but he may have even underestimated Trump's ambition. The Wall Street Journal reports today that they will use any shutdown as an opportunity for permanent mass firings, not just furloughs. The stakes have been raised. Now, this is inside swamp stuff to a lot of you. Folks, this is a big deal. If this plays out, if the Democrats, and what do the Democrats want? The Democrats, simply put, are demanding that illegal immigrants be restored to the welfare rolls. That's, when you break it all down, yes, Carl, that's what they're demanding. They keep saying, for instance, you have to learn how to speak Washington code, right? And I'm a master at speaking Washington code. I understand Washington code. So the Democrats run out and they say things like, Republicans are savaging the nation's health care. They're gutting the health care. That's code. That doesn't mean that Republicans are actually chopping off health care benefits to American citizens. They're not. American citizens wouldn't stand for it. What has been cut are the illegal immigrants sucking on the big mammary gland of the federal government vis-a-vis healthcare benefits. And the way it works is you have these funds, and in some cases, the states have their own healthcare programs funded by the federal government. And what's happening is the federal government has just said, okay, look, we're going to trim this down. We're not paying for illegal immigrants to have health care. They're here illegally. No more. And so the Democrats run out and say, they're destroying the health care. No, they're not. And the Republicans did one other thing in this big, beautiful bill. You may have remembered some of the arguments. They said, why able-bodied people that are able-bodied should not be on benefits. Should not. If you can go to work, go out and get a job. Simple. It's a simple concept. If you're healthy, if you can work, then you should be working. So they limited the amount of time that people can sit on welfare. And they said, you're able-bodied, go get a job. If you're here illegally, no health care benefits for you. There's no other country in the world that you can come in to the country illegally and then start sucking off those taxpayers, except us. Well, maybe some of the Western European nations do it too, because that's one of the reasons they're in trouble. Yeah, like in the UK. You have all kind of people streaming over there and getting on bennies over in the UK. But we do it. We're the leaders. No question about it. And it's time for that to stop. So they run out, they make all these claims, and they're destroying health care, blah, 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 blah. It's not true. But this is a checkmate. Okay, you want to shut down the government? Shut it down, baby. Shut it down. And since there's no funding for these government workers, while it's shut down, we're just going to fire the government workers en masse that are not already funded through, like, for instance, the big, beautiful bill. Or we're not going to fund anything that doesn't align with this administration's view of what the government should look like. This is check. And let's see how the Democrats respond. Now, already, Democrats are out trying to ratchet up the rhetoric. But take your cue from the Washington Post and this sentence. The directive has shaken the federal workforce, which has already undergone sweeping layoffs this year. Now, take it also from this story, your cue as to how this one is being relayed to the Democrat base. Remember old Mr. Margarita, Chris Van Hollen? Go down, let's have some margaritas with illegal aliens down there. Yeah, him. Fox News. Senate progressive accuses Trump of mafia-style blackmail in showdown fight. A Senate Democrat ripped President Donald Trump for a recently released memo that detailed mass firings in the event of a shutdown and accused the president of engaging in, quote-unquote, mafia-style blackmail. Senator Chris Van Hollen, Mr. Margarita, railed against the Office of Management and Budget's OMB memo sent to federal agencies this week that outlined a plan to reduce employees across the government beyond those that are typically furloughed. Van Hollen charged that Trump is engaged in a mafia-style blackmail with his threats ultimately harming the American people. He's threatening to double down on the failed actions of Elon Musk and his chainsaw, going after patriotic civil servants that provide Americans with critical services, despite having to rehire many of these workers after Americans experience the negative impacts of those cuts, he said. Yeah. This is all gobbledygook. Because you know what? They shut it down. These mass firings happen. Most Americans will not even feel a ripple from it. But there are some that will. And that leads me to an op-ed that I'm going to get to when we get back from one of the candidates running for governor in the state of Virginia. Yes, there are other things happening in the news. Democrats are continuing to try to do two things: deflect from the violence that their rhetoric has caused in terms of ICE and pretend that it didn't happen, and to pretend also that what we're seeing is the new normal in terms of the violence. Everybody does it. It's not the left wing. So we got that story and so many others. The economy is on fire. 3.8% growth in the second quarter. I shouldn't say on fire. The fire has started. Let me put it like this. It's not on fire yet, meaning that this already, second quarter growth exceeding previous estimates, is a hint of what's to come. So here we are. James Golden, Snerdley, don't go away. Coming back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
House is unveiling a presidential walk of fame featuring portraits of U.S. presidents, with the exception of former President Joe Biden. The new display just outside the Oval Office along the colonnade there shows a framed photo of an auto pen writing Biden's signature in place of the former president's portrait. The White House released a photo today of President Trump looking at the...
Oh, I'm sorry. These are the kind of things that Donald Trump does, that at some point Yes, I have to say, because I revere the presidency so much, I say, oh, geez, that's not presidential. That's not presidential at all. Yeah, we had the story yesterday, but I was too busy with it. But when you see walking down this long colonnade, every American president from the beginning, 40 some odd white dudes, except for Obama, and then you get to Joe Biden, and there's a pin, and of course the liberals. What's even funnier is the reaction from they are just harumph, and I don't blame them for being. I don't blame them for being harumph on this one. This is so not presidential, because nobody else would do this. Nobody else would do this but Donald Trump, and put the picture. When the history of this age is written, that story of the auto pen photograph is going to be in there. And to future generations, it's going to be funny as all get out. It's going to become one of those folklore things. I promised a story from Virginia, and I'm going to get to it because it ties right in with this government shutdown business. And then of course, we have the Democrats going nuts, trying to get away from the rhetoric that they have said, most of them, over ICE. All that and more. So keep it right here.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So when Newsmax claims that you made $7 million from stock trades, what are they talking about?
Newsmax is, first of all, a very questionable organization that is paying multiple fines. I'm not sure what they're talking about.
Well, did you make $7 million in stock trades at all? Or?
I haven't
answered.
I don't believe I did, but I'd have to go see what that was alluding to again. What kind of came from?
Did you make the money? I don't know. James Golden said she's running for the governor of New Jersey. And that race is tied, by the way, in the polls. The New Jersey governor's race is tied. The Republican candidate there is kicking ass. First of all, straight shooter. I saw a video of him the other day. And he's just like, look, I'm from New Jersey. He went through his family history, being working people in New Jersey growing up too. He says, a lot of people use the governor's race to stepstone to bigger things. He says, this is it for me. I'm running New Jersey so I can fix the problems in the state. And after that, I'm done. I'm going to retire, do what, but I'm done. I don't aspire anything else but to be the governor and fix the state of New Jersey. He's brilliant. This guy's really good. And he's so likable, too.
Yeah, yes. I don't know why I know this, but I know that he did really good at the debate they had the other day. That she was, Jack Ciattarelli did really good at the debate. That she wasn't, Mikey wasn't able to answer a lot of controversial and important New Jersey questions. And I don't know if this is true, but the Post posted that she cheated back in the Naval Academy.
You're bringing up the scandal. No. Let's get that right. She did not. She says she was unable to walk to graduation at the Naval Academy. She didn't walk to graduation. Now, the story is that there was a huge cheating scandal, but she's not accused. At least her version is she did not cheat. But what she did was refuse to snitch on people in her class that had cheated, and that's why they didn't allow her to walk. Because she was... Now, look, you're supposed to live by the honor code in Naval, it's like West Point. Not only if you cheat, but if you see somebody cheating, you're supposed to turn them in. And that's the way it is. No ifs, ands, or buts, no whatever. So you're supposed to be a snitch. But I think a lot of people will cut her some slack on that. And just say, Yeah, you didn't want to snitch out some of your class fellows. I don't know. That's a dicey one. But you think that Jack won that one?
I definitely think that he did, because she resembles a lot of the Kamala interviews that you know what I'm talking about. And I mean, her whole being in the army back. Sure, it's a strong point, but she's
Navy.
not elaborating on it,
Navy.
or she doesn't look like she cares about New Jersey the same way Jack projects it.
I love this political analyst.
Yeah, and I don't even care about the race. These things just pop in front of me, and I see them.
Boy, Carlos is turning out to be a political analyst. And I love your analysis, Carlos. I really do. Okay, now, and then so I'm hearing about the Winsome Sears race now in Virginia. And that, my friends, is the other story. We went through the Democrats having a hissy fit because Donald Trump has apparently, or could be, checkmating them in a way that they would never expect. I cannot tell you how that warms my heart. Republicans have been getting, excuse me for being graphic with language, Republicans have been getting their asses kicked by Democrats when it comes to budget, to government shutdowns, to playing insider political plays. Democrats know how to execute, and the dirtier that the play is, the better they execute it. For instance, the Russian hoax. That's not something Republicans can put together and execute. They don't have the capacity, intellectually, mentally, evilly, whatever it is, to do a dirty trick like that and get it to stick. And they don't have the infrastructure of being able to pull it off within the government. And Republicans have always gotten their asses kicked in terms of strategy with these budget shutdowns. Donald Trump is the first Republican that I have ever seen that knows how to handle these people. Like they thought they had him in check, and then he turns around and puts them right back in check. Oh, you guys want to shut down? They had Hakeem Jeffries out there whining and yelling. Oh, we have two Hakeems. Let's play both Hakeems. Let's just play the one with the shutdown first. Cut 2. This is Hakeem Jeffries on shutdown.
They have no solution. Republicans have no path forward. There is no viable bill. And so the only path forward at this moment is for us to have a bipartisan conversation as to a spending bill that would actually meet the needs of the American people. And we were on track to have that conversation in the White House until Donald Trump and the Republicans backed out. They're running scared. They have no defensible position. And that's why, unfortunately, they're marching us to a government shutdown.
Okay.
That in this great country of ours, whenever progress has been made, it has always triggered a backlash amongst those interested in elevating white supremacy, this ugly underbelly in American society. There was the progress of emancipation and Reconstruction, followed by the backlash of Jim Crow, the KKK, and the lynching epidemic.
Now, the first one was Hakeem Jeffries. Republicans have no viable bill. They already passed their bill, and it is viable. What do you mean they have no bill? They have a bill. They passed it in the House. Democrats did not get a bill passed. Republicans did. And then he says Donald Trump is running scared. He's running scared. He just threatened to decimate the swamp if you guys dare to shut down the government. That doesn't sound like he's scared to me. He don't seem scared. Not in the least. He ain't scared. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting a note from the language police officer of the show. My Debbie, let me see what she says. James, please use another word. Oh. I think she's upset because I said Republicans got their asses kicked and she wants me to use another word. All right, let me use another word. Republicans for decades have gotten their timid little heinies handed to them every time they used to try to pull some strategy move with them. Democrats used to just circle because they're so timid and so scared of being called names that they wouldn't act and stick it right back and fight the fight. Donald Trump is taking it to these people. He's not scared of them. Now, the second cut, by the way, that second cut was at the Congressional Black Caucus, some function for the Congressional Black Caucasians in Washington. And Hakeem Jeffries was talking about basically Democrat history. Play that second quote again, because the second quote is all about Democrat Party history. Just go ahead.
We know that in this great country of ours, whenever progress has been made, it has always triggered a backlash amongst those interested in elevating white supremacy, this ugly underbelly in American society. There was the progress of emancipation and Reconstruction, followed by the backlash of Jim Crow, the KKK, and the lynching epidemic.
Okay, stop right there. It was the emancipation. Who did the emancipation? Abraham Lincoln, Republicans. There was a backlash, and he's accurate about this. There was a backlash with the white supremacists. And who were the white supremacists? The Democrat Party, the Ku Klux Klan, Democrat Party, those people that brought Jim Crow, the Democrat Party, including their president, Woodrow Wilson, who resegregated the federal government and would not allow them to hire black people, and they still honor him in Washington, D.C. with some institution, the Woodrow Wilson, blah, 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 and the Democrats still go around praising him as the big progressive. He's the one that brought segregation, state-sponsored segregation back, okay? And then the Ku Klux Klan. Well, the Ku Klux Klan, we're talking Democrats, Jim Crow, Southern Democrats, the lynching epidemic, Southern Democrats. So everything he said, except he's not telling the folks at the CBC, let's talk about the history of our party. And they still have their foot on the necks of minorities all over the country. Now, I got to do this because I promised it in the first segment. Now, this goes to this. We talked about the government shutdown. Oh, boy, shutdown is going to shut down, and all these federal workers now may be out of jobs. There is an op-ed in the Washington Post today. What Doja Sledgehammer did to Virginia's economy. And it's written by this woman running for office. This woman in Virginia running for office. Abigail Spanberger. You have some mint juleps for Abigail? I'm just asking. She says in the Washington Post, a reckless approach to governing has been bad for jobs and the cost of living. Turn off the TV or get online. You met with talking heads reading political tea leaves. I'm not a pundit, but I can tell you what I'm hearing in the communities across the Commonwealth as a candidate to serve as Virginia's next governor. Virginia's won't lead us focused on alleviating the squeeze of high energy bills. Donald Trump is doing that, by the way. The fear of being fired or laid off with no notice, and the late night worries over how to make mortgage and rent payments. This month, number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits jumped to the highest level in nearly 4 years. While this trend is playing out nationwide, Virginia has been hit especially hard by economic turmoil. Our unemployment rate rose to 7 consecutive months, longest streak since the 2008 financial crisis that Democrats caused, incidentally. That's me now, huh? Okay? More Virginians are looking for jobs and cannot find them. Well, hot damn, that is not good, is it, folks? In July, when Virginia lost our spot as America's top state for business, CNBC cited the economic fallout caused by Donald Trump's reduction of the federal workforce. These cuts and the economic effects of Elon Musk's disastrous Department of Government efficiency aren't just hurting the more than 320,000 federal workers. Let me repeat that. These cuts and the economic effects of Elon Musk's disastrous Department of Government efficiency aren't just hurting the more than 320,000 federal workers who call Virginia home. Business owners are seeing families cut back on spending, and the chaos is threatening the state's overall economy. And the future is looking promising. The University of Virginia forecasts virtually no job growth next year. Business leaders and economists are pointing to one clear cause: the Trump administration's attack on thousands of Virginia jobs. And she goes on and on and on from there. Now, folks, this is a hell of an admission. She's saying there's no growth, economic growth forecast in Virginia. Why? Because Virginia has built its economy on the growth of government. That's what she's saying. Government jobs are what fuels the economy in Virginia. They've got 320,000 government jobs, and that's where you get these ultra-rich suburbs like Fairfax County, ultra-rich liberal suburbs in Virginia. And they're all fueled by government jobs, not by private sector economy stuff, but by fueling this ever-growing government. And that's what she's upset about. She's not out saying, you know what, we need to diversify our economy and bring in private sector jobs that will create job growth. She's writing this op-ed to say we need a governor that's going to fight for bigger, more government, because government jobs are how we float up as a state. And that, my friend, should disqualify her from ever becoming the governor of that state. The guy that's running the state now, Youngkin, businessman, and what he's been trying to do is bring businesses not aligned with government into Virginia. She's crying and moaning and admitting something that most Democrats would think twice of admitting. The federal government and all these liberals in government are what's fueling and what they depend on in Virginia to fuel their wealth. Not on the people, but on the taxpayers of America, funding government growth and government employees. And goodness, if we don't have government growing, our economy in Virginia is going to sink, is her view. And let me tell you, I know that that's not the view of Winsome Sears. And it's not the view of the current governor of the state, Governor Youngkin. This is a hell of an admission. And this needs to be put in her face at every single debate. And if Winsome Sears' campaign had the money to do it, they ought to run an ad on this. It's not the government. It's you, not the government, that is going to be responsible for the prosperity of Virginia. James Golden, Snerdley, keep it right here. Do not go away fast. This hour in American media continues.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
My friends, this Sunday coming up is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Walk Run. Our team is in need of your support. Right now, every dollar counts. Every host, Red Apple Audio Network, has to rally our listeners, my listeners, to participate So each host has a team. Come on, do it for my team. Go to redappleaudionetworks.com/walk and help your favorite host, me, and support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. If you go to redappleaudionetworks.com/walk, you can help us raise money for the amazing Tunnel to Towers Foundation walk run. Let's never forget, folks, America's heroes and what they do and have done for us. Go to redappleaudionetworks.com/walk. Temptations on this day started the recording of this one at Hitsville, USA. Smokey Robinson, Ronald White wrote it. How much time we got, Carlos? Enough time to play some Jackie Wilson had a heart attack, performing live on the stage at the Latin Casino this day in 1975. Our good friend. We got to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you. Until tomorrow, my friends, I bid you adieu. God willing, we'll be back. I'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
This Sunday is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Walk Run, and our team is in need of your support. Right now, every dollar counts. The WABC hosts must all rally their loyal audience to participate. Go to WABCRadio.com/walk and help your favorite hosts right here at WABC and support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Go to WABCRadio.com/walk. Help WABC raise money for the amazing Tunnel to Towers Foundation Walk Run. Go to WABCRadio.com/walk.